Hey, this is Phoenix Song here, and I'm really excited to continue my series on sound design, especially in the FM realm. This video is going to go into how to design a kit of drum sounds using the synth engine. Unlike some of the other videos I've done, we're going to have to use a little bit more than just FM to achieve this, but you'll see, even using the VA engine, we're going to be using a form of FM by the pitch envelope on just one oscillator or two oscillators, and that will create a nice percussive sound, and that's technically FM, so we are staying true to the direction of this course. Please like and subscribe to this channel. Why you see my Roland TR6S here is because we're going to use that as a reference point to be able to emulate some of the 808 sounds on the Deluge. Now, I don't want to blow sunshine up your ass here. This is not going to do everything. There's just no way to get it spot on. There's some things in the analog modeled circuitry that we just can't get with this. But happy accidents happen, and using something as a guide is often better than just randomly going out and saying, yeah, I'm going to make a snare sound, or I'm going to make a clap sound. Having another synth that you are using as a guide will be a way to get closer to certain sounds. Otherwise, you're going to end up anywhere in the world with that sound. And so watch along in this video, and you'll learn a lot about how to get good drum sounds. We're going to be building a kit. We're going to make a new one, and it's going to be really great. You're not going to have all the 808 sounds here. We're going to get some other things too that are pretty exciting. More modern sounds and some vintage sounds. I've spent hours over multiple days going through this and designing kits using this as a reference point. And so unlike a couple of my walkthroughs where I do it all from scratch, we're going to probably have a limit to this one, and I'll try to impart most of the important parts of the sound design, but we're going to have to just skip around, otherwise we'd be here for hours, and I know you don't want to listen through that. But as a plus, I will be sharing these kits, and you can use those, and you can dive into more of the details from that to see how the synth engine is achieved. But still want to mention, I will be going through a good portion of this to teach about some of the key elements here. Okay, just going to do a quick tour of what I was able to get on the Deluge. Let's go through it. So we have a kick here, 808 style. Pretty happy with that result. I had another kick from an earlier experiment that's very not 808, but it's a bonus track for you here. Really cool. I like it. It's a FM tape. All right, and then this was a little resonance. You might have to mix that into some of the others. Let's go on the snare. Just going to keep working with that. Here's the clap. Pretty exciting how far I could get with that, but obviously we're not, I wanted that. And I don't think we're ever going to get that without some serious extra stuff. So don't worry about that too much. And then the hi-hat, I'm pretty happy with the results there. It sounds very nice. It actually sounds more like a real hi-hat than the 808 quick jam with just kick. Nice. And taking that a little bit further. Nice. If we get to exactly 808 or not, doesn't matter. We're going to have some really great source material for synth drum kits on the Deluge. Now let's add in the hi-hat. I think we're going to end up somewhere between 808 and 909 territory here. Blew right on past this on the initial record, so here are the steps to creating rows in a kit that are FM or VA or otherwise. So here, hit kit and hit shift kit to create a new kit. Then on each row you have blank rows. It's going to try to bring you into using a sample here. So hit back to exit out of that, and then go to type on each oscillator and change it to sine wave if you want to go into FM, and then you have to do that on both oscillator 1 and 2. That's it. And then it will allow you to hit shift and synth mode and change it from subtractive to ring modulator to FM. And so that is how you set up a row for building synthesis in each row. So then you can start doing the things you would do on a synth track, and mix the volume, transpose each oscillator, so on and so forth. So hope that helps for beginning to build each row. Oh, and then if you have another row, let's go and do that real quick. You hold the row and kit, and that'll open up a new row where you have to start over from scratch and build a new synth engine type track. Hope that helps. Okay, let's deep dive into the 808 kick. Now, I'm not going to do this from scratch this time because it took me hours or days something to get this just right. It's actually not that complicated. It was more simple, but I just kept on tuning. And so we'll use this, what I've created here, as more of a reference point for, what we have here. Really close. There's a little bit more transient pop on the TR6S. Let's just focus on the Deluge for a bit. So you can probably see from the oscilloscope that we have a sine wave there, and that is what we're using. And so obviously sine wave there. And we're using subtractive synth here, not FM. But we are using frequency modulation in this, and you'll see how, because we are doing frequency modulation on this oscillator. So even though it's using the subtractive synthesis mode, I'm going to show you how that's done. So you give it a lower tuning, and then using envelope 2, we're using about 25 out of 50 for the amount of modulation that's doing. And so that's how we get that. You can still hear that there's a little bit of a transient click on there, and that's coming from a very quick envelope. Let's go into that. So envelope 2, the envelope 1 is always tied to the VCA, or the volume of the entire track. And so look at what we have here. Wow. Really simple. So just 1 and 1. And so we have to credit the community here. We have an extra trick here to tune the envelopes, as you may have learned, or may not. This is pretty cool. So you modulate envelope 2 by envelope 2 by a little bit, and in this case, the negative way. And so what that does is it not only sculpts that envelope a little bit, but it changes the curve of that envelope. So look, we have -5 on there, a little bit different than that. So on the release and the decay, we have some negative, and that makes the envelope fade on a little bit. And so as you may know, on the Deluge, the envelope only goes from 0 to 50. So often that's not enough sculpting to get some of those attacks that you want to do. So it does do it, though, because you can modulate the envelope by itself, and that's super key to doing any percussion. So we have a little bit of oscillator 2, and that's tuned way down, and that's the analog square. And so this is here, let's see. So if we go to this is the volume of oscillator 2, and you can see we're using envelope 2 again, and we're using all of it. 100% of that envelope is controlling this, and that's partially why the volume starts out pretty low. We are just using it for a little bit of that initial transient. So it gives it, if you can see in the blue, that's the Deluge, and the green is the TR6S. So it's really close. It's a little bit different, and something about the TR6S makes the transient pop a little bit. And there's another, see, its noise is on 0, but you can always turn that up to create some extra transient. So that's a trick. You could also, we're not going to do that here, but you can go in and give envelope 2, make it sculpt. Oh, it already was. Well, I think I was playing around with that earlier and decided not to use the noise. But basically this makes, that only comes out at the beginning. But it kind of starts sounding like a snare, so that's why I didn't do too much noise, because you can turn that up and get a more of a snare tone, a really low, deep snare, but that's something that's a nice option. So let's explore what else is in here. There's no reverb on this. There's just envelope 1 is 10 decay and 10 release and 0 attack and sustain. Pretty nice. Let's see. Nothing going on the filters. Obviously that could be an area of extra work, but I played around with that and wasn't getting good results. So this is pretty simple. Takes a while, but since I've already done the work here for you, you can use that as a quick way to get to this sound. Little bonus kick for you here. Has nothing to do with 808 at all, but I thought I'd give you this one because it sounds so cool. When you get the file, I'm sharing these for free. You can check this out and play around with this and tweak this way or that way to make all sorts of cool, really industrial kicks. Well, let's go back to the 808 kick we made just a second ago and do one thing. Let's turn up the saturation on that. Yeah, that's super cool. If you know, we're getting more, a dirty 808. So play around with that if you want that. This was the snare that I got to so far, and this is not full on 808 snare. It's a little bit different, and it took a while to get there, but a lot of good stuff. Not an exact match, and I think we could tune that a little bit more to get it a little closer, but some interesting things going on there. We're using a lot of noise to create that. I tried to work with the FM and used a lot of feedback. It just wasn't getting the right tone here. So basically, it sounds like a lot of noise, but actually the sine wave is mixed up pretty high there, 37, and yeah, higher pitched. Nothing going on there. And the noise, if you can see, envelope 2, 15 on the envelope 2. And let's go through the envelopes really quick. So 0 attack, 3 decay, 0 sustain, 3 release. And then on envelope 2, 1 attack, 4 decay, 0 sustain, and 6 release. So that's cool. And then let's see what so right now the filter's not doing anything. You can obviously turn the low pass filter down. It's starting to sound like a cymbal. So there you go. You can make kind of a little tweaking there. You could have your China cymbal. It's got a good snap to it. A little bit of the high pass filter there. We could go for it. You're not really hearing that much yet, but look, the EQ is important on this one. So bass frequency 26 and 13. 25 is about 0 on this parametric EQ, and so we're cutting a little bit of the bass here, and we are boosting the treble at 23. We put it up to 45. So yeah, we could turn that down a little bit if we wanted to, but there's a good one. Turn it down there. So you can play around with these and yeah. I was reading up on the 808, and there's definitely specialized circuits that were fine-tuned for making things pop and snap. So it's really hard to copy that exactly, because there was real specific circuitry to get those really popping sounds coming out of it. Onto the hand clap. Definitely not fully happy with the results here, but I just think there's a limit that we can go to get this tone right. I went online to look at, hey, what's some recipes for making this clap? And while I found bunches of resources on that, many of them were like, hey, here's how to make a clap. And then they would go and make a snare. And so you should watch my other video to get some insight into what makes up the hand clap. But I'll show you again right here on the oscilloscope. There's this 4 pre-transients and then the main attack of it. So, and here's what I was able to do on the Deluge. I'm able to get that pre-transient noise by using LFOs on this one. So I've got a very fast LFO on LFO 1, and it's square wave. So that's how it, comes in and out, amplitude modulation. And so that is affecting various things. The volume on oscillator 1, let's see, LFO 1, 31 out of 50 modulation. So there's a lot going on here. A lot of sculpting with the low pass and the high pass to create its band pass filter. And then some sculpting here of the bass and treble. So this one took so long, and it's still not really where I want it. Okay, the noise is also affected by LFO by 17. So I would say it sounds like a analog clap of some sort, but definitely not the 808 clap. So might keep working with this, but it's really hard to get it all the way. So I would use this as a resource and maybe tweak to your needs to sculpt it further, but definitely has a cool sound, and mixed into a beat, it can do the job. Finally, the hi-hats. I'm not going to spend as much time on these, but you can hear them. I think they sound pretty good. Again, not exactly. These are a little crispier, higher, and mine are a little bit more natural sounding, like a real hi-hat. Like you're feeling a little bit more of the metal of the hi-hat there. So we are getting, and so what are we're using FM on this one. Right. Okay, so all of these, and we're using mod 1 algorithms. That means FM mod 1 is going into oscillator 1, and FM mod 2 is going into FM mod 1. So that's a way to create more noise type sounds without having the noise of the subtractive synthesis. So let's go into a little bit more of that. We have full, and transpose is 33 on that, 37, and 12 on that. That was very scientifically derived, so look at my other FM tutorials to kind of see the logic behind those numbers. I'm not going to explain myself here, not enough time, but there's a lot of really complicated math to that. Yeah. Okay, so we've got lots of feedback going on, 35 on this, 41, and 32 on that. So again, those were really specific. You had to do a lot of complicated derivatives, calculus. Yeah, I'm going with that. So, okay, obviously no noise because this is the FM. And then we have no filter, but we do have the parametric EQ. So check this out. So the bass is turned all the way down. So we cut out all the bass right around the middle. And then the treble is turned up a little bit from the frequency that starts at, and then boosted there. So the envelopes super fast. I think 0 1 0 1, and then 20 20. Okay, I didn't even use envelope 2. That's why I know that. Okay, and then on this one, what do we got here? We're back to the subtractive engine. So it's a very interesting combo here. Okay, so we just worked with a lot of noise here. Little bit of the sine wave at 20.7, right? And yeah, this one's turned down right now. I was playing with other sounds, but anyway. Sine, feedback, right? Sorry. Okay, so the envelope 0707, a little bit longer. We could draw that out longer. 0708. Interesting. And we have a little bit of filter here. I'm going to give you these files for free so you can look at all of these a little bit more in detail and analyze it a little bit on your own. But that is the rundown of this kit. And kind of a 809 kit. We'll call it the Deluge 809 kit. Great. Thanks for listening. I'll show you a couple more things before we wrap this video up. Okay, I made another version of that main kit that we worked through. Mostly the same, but the transient on this kick drum's a little different. This one's about the same. That one's about the same. This snare's a little bit different than the main one I did. So you'll have this as a free file you can check out and look for kind of some other ideas here. That's about the same. The hi-hat, I think, was a little bit different. Okay. Okay, here's another kit I made for you. I think this one focused a little bit more on FM, but we'll see. Definitely. This was an FM only kit, or really close to it, a lot more FM in it. Kind of cool zappy kick, and then a really dirty kick. More of a resonant snare. Garbage can lid. And a metallic hi-hat combo. XOR comes to mind from some of my Eurorack modules. So thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe to this channel. Really need the support to get this channel going and keep me going to do this research. This one took a long time, and the other video as part of this that goes more into analyzing those 808 sounds in more depth. So check that video out. Like and subscribe, because there's going to be more resources on Deluge and other synths on how to do sound design and other important things. So thanks, and I'm Phoenix Song. Have a good one.